of history. Tea house poems to nurture the past and rewild the spirit. A podcast by Caroline.kerjean. Episode 5. Entr'acte. In the first episode of A Thread of History, I read to you from the preface of my book, A Bloody Song, How Anime and Literature Collide. I told you about my, quote, time travel from a childhood love of the Lady Oscar series, or Rose of Versailles series, to my adult fascination with that early childhood passion of mine. I would like to take a few minutes today to take a quick break from my usual podcasting topics to delve a bit deeper into the subject, though, of course, there is definitely a link between the two, and you'll see why very shortly. The Lady Oscar series, Lady Oscar is a Japanese anime, was deeply influential for me. The version I'm overly familiar with is the French language version. As a child, I always felt the very existence of the series was some kind of, quote, secret, as I say in the book, since no one in the English-speaking side of the family knew what it was. And since the family for a child is a kind of your whole world, it seemed as though no one knew of Lady Oscar outside of myself. But one could actually say that the Rose of Versailles series remained a kind of well-kept secret for most of the English-speaking world, until fairly recently, because the series, the animated series, came out in North America in English in 2013, which is about 30 years after it did in Quebec. And as many of you know, Rose of Versailles was finally published in English in December 2019, and the final volume released in April 2021, so exactly a year ago now. This was a major event. It's a major event when such a classic work like Rose of Versailles is released, of course, and to such a huge, to a new huge audience. So I would like to take a minute to highlight as well all the amazing work that Erica Friedman contributed on the English language project of translating Rose of Versailles into the language of Shakespeare. Friedman is actually a specialist of yuri, anime, and manga, and I encourage you to check out her work if you are interested in that subject. You can find her at www.yuricon.com. So the two hefty French language volumes of Rose of Versailles are the ones I'm actually familiar with. I don't have the English language ones yet, but I know they're really gorgeous. I've seen photos and I've seen them online and they look amazing. If you're familiar with Lady Oscar or Rose of Versailles and are interested in knowing more about the main themes in these works, or if you've always wondered what the main differences between the anime Lady Oscar and the manga are, or even if you just have an interest in knowing more about Japanese pop culture, my book, A Bloody Song, is for you. Just as a quick overview of a few of the topics I discuss in the book, it's such subject matter as the samurai ethic called Bushido, the famous theme of Mono no Awari, the theme of alienation, of gender identity, of course, and of the theme of love. Love Skies is the name of the chapter. I think one could say that A Bloody Song, the book, is basically a kind of field guide to the main themes in Rose of Versailles, which are actually often universal and common to a great many works of manga and also of Japanese literature, which is one of the reasons why I explore similar themes in the book, the famous book, The Remains of the Day, by Kazuo Ishiguro. Just as an aside, another Lady Oscar fan wrote to me recently that she also had seen major similarities between these two stories, these two real, very classic works of fiction. So, A Bloody Song is an overview, a kind of field guide to the basic Japanese cultural themes and influences to be found in Rose of Versailles and in many other manga as well. Because I find that often people tend to gloss over the deeper cultural influences that inspire works of fiction, especially if these influences are foreign to them or are native to other cultures. So I just wanted to know more about what had inspired Ryoko Ikeda, the author of The Rose of Versailles, at the outset. Another reason I'm telling you about A Bloody Song today is that I have a new book in the works. this is a book which actually has grown out of the first one in a very, very organic kind of way. The tentative title right now, very tentative, is Bones of Trees: How Mythic Time Teaches Us to Nurture the Past and Rewild the Spirit. I continue my, quote, time traveling in this new book, seeking to explore how our sense of time and of history influences our everyday understanding of ourselves, of our sense of belonging, of our relationships with others, and of our spiritual lives. Join me next time on my new YouTube channel and in my podcast, A Thread of History, right here, as I continue to explore these themes and others and tell you a bit more about the new book project, which I'm really, really excited about. I'd like to conclude this shorter episode with an announcement. I'm giving away 3 free signed copies of the book, of A Bloody Song, to the first 3 people who email me in order to sign up to my free newsletter. I would really love to hear from you, from other Lady Oscar and Rose of Versailles fans who are as fascinated as I am with these classic works. Also, not to worry, my newsletter is definitely not something that will clog up your inbox, as I publish it about quarterly, so about 4 times a year. The newsletter is full of fun tidbits about my book, my podcast, and other developing stories about my writing and my artwork. So sign up now. I can't wait to be able to give away these free copies of A Bloody Song to the first 3 people who write to me at, and here I'll give you my email address, of course. So Caroline with a C, .kerjean, KERJEAN, .author at gmail.com. So that's caroline.kerjean.author at gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening and following this channel and or my podcast. And I thank you so much, and am deeply appreciative of your wonderful presence and support. Take good care and see you soon.